Well, you are the Joker, right? I mean, I don't know why it's fat and scrappy. It should be fat and humorous. I don't know.
But at some point, Fat and Spooky's going to do a Joker theme. But damn it, when it is Elite Eight, I come in hot. Elite Eight Duels is back April 1st and 2nd at Atlanta International Convention Center. 10 teams this year. Spartan comes back to defend their championship. Minions look to retake. Dynasty, JK Squad, Black Mom, Carnage is back. Owa, my word. And some of these teams I'm looking at, and all I can say is, man, and I'm invoking Joey Styles with it. I am pumped.
It's going to be a great weekend. And there is, you and I have gotten the roster, and I want to go ahead and say right up front that the roster's changed just a little bit. We saw a little bit of change last time before this, but for the most part, the rosters are set and they are freaking good. All right. So before we jump into kind of talking about each of the teams and that sort of thing, I want to make sure I don't forget to say it's streamed on Rockfin. Are you announcing?
Yes, I am. It will be, as I know of, we have 4 commentators. Me, Jack Gockel, Ryan Holmes, Josh Nolan. I'm pumped. It's the same crew last year, except we threw in Gockel, who I've met once or twice. Good dude. I'm excited for it.
All right. So it is, like you said, in Atlanta this weekend. It is streamed on Rockfin. If you're around Atlanta, definitely come out and watch. It's going to be a fantastic. What makes Elite Eight unique for you? Like, what would be the attraction for you?
I think the attraction is, and this is no disrespect to any kids specifically or not, we've trimmed the cannon fodder. You go to NHSCAs, you go to Super 32. Yes, you have 4 or 5 studs that are the elite of the elite, ranked top 15 in the country, right? But you also have the kids that, I live close to Greensboro and I'm a high school wrestler, so I'm going to go to Super 32. And I don't want to be that kind of guy. But in this type of an event, we've trimmed we've trimmed the fat. This is Kobe beef right here. This is the best of the best in a tight, compact scenario, and they're going to war. And there is no easy matches. Like, maybe even I could argue in the first year that they did this, 1 or 2 teams had a couple guys that I'm like, okay. This year, there are no easy matches. The past couple of events, I look back at Seabolt and Minion, the last year freestyle, where I'm like, there are no easy matches. There's not a single kid in this event on any team that I'm like, oh yeah, they get work. Like, no, like, well, that would be it for me.
Speaking of Seabolt Minions, this is a clip from them last year. I mean, you were awesome. There. You weren't there. You weren't on the call, but you were there. I mean, that was a wild duel. I mean, the entire weekend was great, but that finals duel was unbelievable.
Well, the entire weekend was wild. Let's make that clear. The entire weekend, you had some beautiful food, some beautiful wrestling, some punches, people going through tables. This was a TLC match weekend, basically. It was a fantastic event.
I
And,
totally forgot about the punches and everything else. Oh yes.
I did, 'cause I nearly got killed in the trample. I was in the mix. But in the end, it culminated in the duel that everyone wanted to see in the final. Everybody thought deserved to see that one, and we got the right duel in the final. So, and it was a perfect crescendo to end the weekend. That was my first Elite Eight actually working it, and I was humbled to be there. I still remember come back home and emailing the group chat being like, wow, there's a lot of big names in this group chat before the event, because it was, the guys from Flow, you, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm with the big dogs now. I gotta step my game up here.
Yeah, no, it was a great event, and last fall was a great event. I mean, it's the first time we saw
Absolutely.
Minions lose like that.
In the
They, I mean,
final, yeah.
yeah, they lost in the finals, and the Beast of the East team is back. We're not going to get to them quite yet. We're going to start in Pool A with the teams in Pool A, and let's go through them just really quick. And I'm going to give some overview of the team, and then if you want to touch on a name or two, that's cool. So let's start with Carnage. Covers 9 different states, mostly Midwest, right? A few
Yep.
California kids in there. 6 kids who are ranked by Matt Scouts. 16U freestyle champion last year in Fargo, Michael Romero of California. And then there's a little kid, and I think this is who this is, Carter Smith, who won the Talonen Open in Estonia this past weekend, way down at 38 kilos. I mean, Carnage from top to bottom is a tough squad.
I mean, that's Carnage from top to bottom, just as you said, a really super, not only a tough squad, but super balanced. Like, to beat Carnage, you're gonna have to win matches in the lightweights, in the midweights, and in the heavyweights.
Yeah, no doubt.
Shout out Carter Smith winning the Talent Open, and a quick, and I don't care. I got it. Quick shout out. Philip Jackson, the Garbazova sisters, who went to Talent, wore Fat and Scrappy branded gear. Quick shout out to them. Um,
And made the
I had
podium.
to do well, yes, they did, and they wrestled their heads off, so good for them. And you were talking about it. Another guy I just want to I want to throw him in there. Revan Dickman at Indiana, right number 15th at 116 pounds. That kid is a stud. I caught some of his matches. I want to say at excuse me, Virginia Beach, I want to say. I could be mistaken, but I've watched him wrestle a handful of times. The kid can bang. So I'm super excited to see him.
I think we might have seen him last year at Elite Eight. In
That was no, he was on Outlaws.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that
So
makes sense. Yeah.
all right,
I knew I had watched him wrestle. I just couldn't remember where.
so let's jump to JK squad, Josh Kindig's team, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Tennessee, Georgia, those types of kids. 7 kids ranked by Matt Scouts, including your number 1 74 kilo Joe Seeley. JK squad, again, another squad that with 7 of the 15 weights having kids ranked. That's pretty good.
And that run in the middle of Little, Nittinger, Shaw, Voinovich, Herman, Seeley is disgusting. Like, that run is disgusting. So you're gonna have to find a way to take one of them out if you're gonna beat them. Probably take 2 of them out. And your lineup is stacked where your big group of hitters, the easy match is Maddox Shaw. Pennsylvania State Blazer. He's pretty good at sport of wrestling. Pretty good. Like, if that's your easy match, holy, like, that's
Well, I think Maddox was also a 16U All-American in Fargo last year as well. So
yeah, but and then you have
I mean,
Voinovich in there. Like, those are the only 2 guys that aren't ranked in the top 10 in that stretch of guys.
yeah.
Like
Well, and then
Jesus.
did you even say Lillendahl? Did you even? I mean, I don't
I
even know.
said Lildahl. Yeah, I
Okay,
said
all right,
start
all
with
right.
Lildahl, end with Seeley.
Yeah. All right. So I'm actually glad you brought that up because you brought up the middleweights there for JK squad. But one of the things that's new this year for the Elite Eight is there's not a heavyweight, and we've added 38 kilos. We've added 41 kilos, 44 kilos. The small kids, the middle schoolers coming in and getting some work in, you know, potentially 16 U's this coming summer, maybe. I don't know
Yeah,
where they
yeah,
actually all
depending on
stand.
yeah.
Right. But what do you think that adds to kind of the team mentality of having them in the mix as well?
I think it's a lot more erratic, and I say that because I think you're a lot more likely to have a "No, what are you doing?" moment from a middle schooler who's in this type of environment. Not in a bad way, because they're gonna go wrestle their heads off. And I just think you're more likely to have a head scratcher or like a "what is going on" moment in these lighter weights. So I feel like it adds a bit of unpredictability to the event.
Yeah, a little uncertainty, like
Yeah, yeah, and not in a
we're
bad
we're
way.
wi- we're winning 8-0, and next thing you know, we get leg laced.
Yeah, and because the thing is, it's not saying that they're bad wrestlers. Because every one of us, when we were younger, we might have been studs. But when you were 13, 14, and you would pull random stuff out of your you know what, that may not have worked, and it put you in a rough spot. It's that type of thing here. Now, these are the elite of the elite, so I don't see that happening too often. But the opportunity is still there for it, which I find fascinating.
All
I'm
right,
mad. Bring back heavyweight. Cliff Fretwell, you're anti-fat. I'm mad at you. Bring back heavyweight.
all right. So let's jump to Dynasty. So primarily Pennsylvania, 6 from Pennsylvania, 7 ranked kids in Matt Scouts, including dual number ones, Bo Bassett, Jax Forrest, back to back in the middle of that lineup. How good is Dynasty?
Dynasty's super dangerous. Like the Dynasty's one of those teams where I'm looking up and down the lineup and I see the 2 guys that I think are really gonna be important in this lineup is Cade and Ben Ziola. Shout out to Ziola real quick. Cade ranked number 13th in all the land. Ben unranked, but the kid wrestled at Elite Eight last year, I do believe. Had himself a solid weekend. I think that those are 2 kids that, Cade last year took a couple really weird losses that Mr. Ziola was not pleased about, to say the least. And I feel like Naomi Bullis knows. She was there talking to him the entire weekend, so she knows. That was my friend that came with me, so shout out Naomi. She ain't coming this year. Dominic Martinez is actually coming with me this year from Bruton Parker, so you'll see him down there.
All right.
I just think Ziola's and a kid like Giovanni Scafidi, I think they're going to be super important to this team because they have the high end to win this event. I mean, look, when you got Bo Bassett and Jax Forrest on your team, you're gonna be in the hunt. You're gonna feel like you're in the hunt. You got guys like Austin Johnson, Connor Mirasola, Dominic Montero. Like they have a lot. Vince Bazalkis, I almost forgot to say. Like they have a lot of hitters. They're just gonna need their non-hitters. Like it's weird saying a kid like Benziola isn't a hitter, but in this scenario, he's not one in comparison. They're gonna need those guys to get the job done when it's needed.
All right. So let's move to Team Alien. Mostly New Jersey kids up there. We have returning 16U All
Jersey.
Americans and Chapman, Max Nevlin, Caleb Marzolino, as well as I believe Christian Fretwell's on that team as
Yep.
well. He's a
And Desmond
returning.
Nesbitt out of Alabama.
Yep. So Team Alien, maybe not the star power that some of the others have, but looking at those names, I mean Hibbler and Parkins and everybody else, they'll come to wrestle.
I'll say that it's a tough team, but this is for sure a bit more of a mixed bag. Like a lot of these guys are a bit more under the radar. Where a guy like Christian Fretwell, who to the Dirty South, we know him. We know the kid he is out of Lake Gibson. Maybe the rest of the country doesn't. We saw it last year where certain guys took this tournament as an opportunity to jump onto the scene. I don't see it unlikely we see something similar happening here. So this is going to be a kind of event for Team Alien specifically where while you may not be in the title hunt per se, you got a couple boys that are going to be looking to take down some, slay some dragons to get their name some respect.
All right. And then our final team in Pool A is Poway out of California. Mostly California. I mean, in fact, they might be all California kids.
I think it is.
Yeah, and And California is a super good state, always really good freestyle. So we expect an awful lot from them, but they only have 2 ranked wrestlers as opposed to Dynasty and a few of the other teams within their pool who have 5 or 6 or 7, you know?
I think Power is one of my sleeper teams where California is so good. And I think the thing is, California kids get overlooked a lot because of the fact that they only have one classification. I feel like there's a lot of times that you'll get a hammer that in his league, he's got to wrestle someone like an Aiden Valencia, a killer, and he may not get as much sign because he's getting second, third in his league. So that puts him in a rough spot at state. So maybe he's finishing 7th at state, maybe not even making the podium. But the kid, would have went to Doc Buchanan and was top 4.
Right.
So it's one
Or
of the things
pops up in Fargo and makes All American.
Exactly. So I'm excited to see a guy like Dom Dotson, who I've heard about. I don't know where I've seen him before, but I know that name. Jalen Concepcion, I've seen the name. I don't know where specifically from, but guys like that, where I'm like, okay, let's see. Again, it's something like Team Alien. I think Powell and Team Alien are kind of in a similar boat. So I'm just excited to see them get after it.
All right. So day 1 is all matches within within the pools. So we just went through Pool A, and you will get basically each team will get 4 matches. We start at 10 a.m., noon to 4. The last duel of the day is at 6, and that sets you up to go into the tournament the second day. So my question for you is, who comes out as the number 1 seed out of Pool A? Who comes out as the number 2 seed out of Pool A?
I'm not going to hedge my bets. I'm not going to. When I was looking at it, there are 2 teams that I think are my front runners, where I think it's going to be one of these 2 teams. So I'm going to say, give me JK Squad coming out on top. Give me Dynasty coming in second. Give me Carnage in third. Give me Poway in fourth. Give me Team Alien coming out in 5th.
All right. Okay.
That's how I see it going.
Okay. All right. So let's jump to Pool B, and let's start with the kids that we know for the most part. Minion Legends, Dirty South versus the World.
What do you mean?
Obviously.
They got 3 Georgia kids. What do you mean?
Yes, I know. They do have a couple of Tennessee kids.
Yeah.
Right. They have Sebastian De Janeiro and Sawyer Bartelt, or Florida kids.
Obviously.
So,
yeah.
And to be fair, Gabe Arnold was a Georgia kid, even though he's listed as Iowa now. I'm sorry?
Oh, so 4 Georgia kids.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I get your point. So Minions have, 7 ranked, really, really good squad from top to bottom. It's really interesting to see Hudson Chittum at 38 kilos, Jacqueline Bazakis up at 41 kilos to kind of start things off for Minions. Do you think there's any pressure on, the middle schoolers coming in and trying to,
Yes, especially with their 2 last names. Yes. And it's not, and I guarantee you, it's not like dad saying you have to. I guarantee you, they're going to feel it. Again, you have to in that moment, in that environment, with the team you're on and what their brothers have done for Minion Legends. There is going to be some expectations of them that they've never been in this environment. Now, we know the killers they are. I do not need Mr. Bazalkis or Mr. Chittum running down on me this weekend. We know the killers that they are. It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of wrestling on Minion Legends, coming off their first finals loss. Minion's going to slide, and Minion wants to get it back in blood. So they're going to need to bring the best of their best. And then, for the rest of the lineup, a guy like a Cooper Hilton, a guy like Hope Ho,
who just had a great weekend.
Yeah, who's had NHSCA national champion, state finalist this year, obviously, Hoke. Hey.
All right. So let's jump to Black Mambas, who I think is one of the few squads like Dynasty and Minions who've been here every single Elite 8. Black
So
Mambas
I think
always come.
Mambas and Minions are the only and Dynasty, excuse me, the only three teams that have been to every single Elite Eight. They're the only three that have been to
So
every one. Dating back to the first one, which was in Columbus. No, it wasn't in Columbus, was it?
no, no, no. The first one was in downtown Atlanta during COVID.
Yes, I remember that because I was at Kent State in my isolation dorm watching it.
Well, Lucas is always in an isolation dorm, so there we go. All right.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So Black Mambas, we've got 3 that are ranked by Matt Scouts. We also have a junior Greco All-American and Jared Thury, Billy Greenwood, who was a 16U All-American. There's a few TBDs to be determined because I think they're still trying to figure out who's going to slot into particular places. But from top to bottom, what do you think of the Mambas and what is their shot of getting through?
I mean, the Mambas are a tough team. I mean, like you said, guys like Lodges, Greenwood, Ison, and VZ down low, or down up top. Excuse me. I just think that
on
it's gonna
our spreadsheet they're down low,
Yeah.
but I understand.
It's gonna come down to a lot of their guys like Alex Huddleston, Schwab, Hutchins, that maybe aren't as well known. I think it's gonna come down to them making way and beating some guys that maybe they're not supposed to beat.
All right, so let's jump to Vision Quest. And Vision Quest is primarily Northeast, 2 ranked by Matt Scouts. What's interesting is that
2 ranked guys aren't Northeast.
No, they're not. That's Cam Stinson and Colin Duple, North Carolina and Tennessee. But we do have a 16U national champion last year in Fargo in Bekraz Sadredinov from PA.
So that's one of the names that if I have Vision Quest on my mat, I'm going up to the team before the duel. Say, excuse me, how do I not butcher this one?
Right, because I probably just butchered it.
and I'm looking at it. I know I would, so I'm not even going to try. But yes, that gentleman is quite the wrestler. Yes.
So Vision Quest, I want you to compare them to Mambas just a little bit, and kind of what do you see the difference between those 2 teams?
I mean, I don't see too much difference in a couple ways. I think that they're really similar. I mean, they have a couple ranked kids each, and another pair of placers each. It's going to come down to matchups, and the other thing is they have some TBDs. The Vision Quest has nobody up top. Mambas is looking for that second to last weight class in one of the upper mids. So I think that's what's really going to be the deciding factor is, do they fill those weights?
So how much of we talked about it earlier. There are about 50 ranked wrestlers, according to Sailor's rankings, Matt Scouts, that are on different teams. And we're going to get to Beast of the East, which has 12 of those, right, in just a minute. But these other teams, they have a handful, right? They have 2, 3, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
But again, you mentioned before, the kids might be not ranked. And especially, let's be honest, like the 38 kilos, 41 kilos, 44 kilos, they're not going to be ranked yet.
Yeah, that's a mixed bag. Like that, we're going to come to the event, and that's where we're going to see what you got.
Right. So just because a team has a ton of ranked kids, they might be established, but doesn't necessarily mean they're the favorites, right?
Yeah, I agree to an extent. I mean, obviously, if we're going to call a team the favorite, I think that they will have to have a lot of established talent. But yes, that can happen. And I mean, look, we wrestle the matches out for a reason. Hey, Matt Ramos. That's all I got to say. We wrestle the matches for a reason, ladies and gentlemen.
True. All right. So let's jump to Spartan RTC, who was combined with Beast of the East last fall. And now they're separated. Spartan is primarily Lake Highland Prep and in Florida. And they are, I don't know if you've heard about it, but they're building a unbelievable facility down there, which is going to look awesome.
I heard bits and pieces, but I haven't you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, from what I've heard, and I haven't actually seen it, it looks like it's going to be a phenomenal facility.
Hey, LHP, have me and your boy down to cover an event.
Yeah. Well,
I'll sleep in the wrestling room. I don't mind.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Spartan or LHP bringing Liam Davis, who's ranked, CJ Torres, who just beat Dominic Gambinelli in the NHSCA finals. Sam Herring is on that squad. What do you think of Lake Highland Prep?
I mean, it's like you said. I mean, it's a school that or a team, excuse me, that has some unestablished talent. A guy like Landon Williams in there, who us Georgians will know quite well from this season. Guy like Josh Boykin, a Mason Jacob in there. Lots of guys that I think this could be their breakout event for sure. So Spartan's a team that is, to me, super dangerous, and you cannot overestimate if you're in Pool B. You have to come ready to answer the bell.
All right, let's finish it with Beast of the East. Obviously, Northeast kids, 12 ranked by Matt Scouts, 5 16U All-Americans. I mean, you just look at their lineup and is there a better team? I just want to finish it with talking about this. Is there not on paper?
Not on paper.
Okay. So with that said, are you taking Beast of the East to win Pool B or not?
Yeah. Like, I don't want to say it's pretty cut and dry, but I mean, I look at Minion Legends and I'm seeing a lot of matchup problems for them, especially where there are certain weight classes where, we might think it's an auto win, not so fast. Like when we get into matchups in each weight class, we'll get there. There's one or two that I'm like, Minions, in most duels, this is an auto win. Not so fast. Not so fast. This one here's a war. So that's where I stand. To me, I have Beast of these coming out in first. Give me the Minions in runner-up. Give me Black Mambas in third, Spartan in fourth, Vision Quest in fifth.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So one thing before we got on the conversation that you and I talked about was picking one match at every single weight that if they happen to run across one another, and they may not, right? But if they happen to run across one another, what is that one match that you're most interested in at each and every single weight? And I want to go ahead and we'll go through this. But the reason we're limiting this is we can talk about all sorts of matchups. I mean, we can spend all afternoon talking about
the bracket head and may or may not have already predicted the tournament out through the tournament on a piece of paper beside me.
Right. So we're not going to do that, and we're not going to get into all those details. What we're going to do is we're going to simply give me one matchup, and why don't we? I'll let you pick the weight. Why don't you? Is there a weight that's easiest? The matchup that's easiest to pick?
No, we're going to do this like a dual meet. We're going to start down low, 38 kilograms.
All right, 38 kilo. What is your matchup that you want to see?
This one is actually a matchup that we might see in Pool A. Keegan Bassett and Carter Smith to me. Talent Open champion in Carter Smith at a Carnage. We know Keegan Bassett. We've watched the videos that Bo posts. We've seen Keegan get to work. To me, I think that right there is a really fun matchup because we get to see I think Carter coming off of the Talent Open, he'll probably be about as hot as you could be coming into this event, having just wrestled freestyle this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see him up against a guy like Keegan Bassett.
And I assume that's the Carter Smith that wrestled at the Talent and Open. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that, I mean, given what I've seen on screen, but I've actually never seen Carter actually wrestle in person yet. So we'll take that with a grain of salt. All right, 41 kilos.
Give me Eli Herring and Brandon Bickerton for one reason and one reason only. If I were to take a gander at the stat sheet and say that one of my stats is pair of losses to somebody, oh, nah, I got to run that back. Nah, fam. So Eli Herring, his stat is pair of losses to Bickerton. And honestly, I will submit 41 kilograms is a weight where I'm not there's not a lot of guys I do know. So I want to see that one. See if Eagle gets that one back.
Yeah, I might be interested in Sammy Sanchez against Hayden Schwab for the similar type of reason. I think Sanchez beat Schwab last year at the 14U duels, like Bickerton beat Herring. So
Yeah.
definitely. All right, jump into 44 kilos. What is the matchup that you're most interested in?
This is one of those minion and beast ones I'm talking about. Cole David Heiser, fifth at 94 pounds in 16U. He'll go up against Tanner Tran, 16U, eighth place for 88 pounds. This is one of those matchups where you got guys that have a lot of freestyle experience, and now you know, in a duel like that, that's one where the winner of that match might do a lot for their team. So I'm very interested to see that one for sure.
All right, so jump into 48 kilos.
I mean, there's a couple matchups I can go here.
Of
But
course. Now
yeah,
now it's gonna be hard. Like it's gonna be
yeah,
difficult to pick some.
I want to see Montero out of Dynasty and Aiden Thomas out of Beast of the East get after it. That'd be your number 3.
Monoretto.
Monoretto, excuse me, if that's the case. And if it is Monoretto, that is how I said it wrong the entire tournament last year. So I do apologize, Dom. But that's one I'm just very curious on that matchup as well. Stylistically, I think it's a really good matchup. I think it could be some fun. So
you said Monoretto and who?
Monoretto and Aiden Thomas.
Aiden Thomas. All right.
I don't know
So
why I
yeah,
had a brain fart there.
no, it's okay. I was there's actually quite a few Fargo All-Americans, returning Fargo All-Americans in that weight class. So that'll be an interesting weight class. All right, 51 kilos. What is your matchup that you're most interested in seeing?
At a Carnage, give me 16U champ at 100 pounds, Michael Romero, and I want to see him wrestle Liam Davis of Florida at Spartan RTC. Matchups wise and stylistically, that seems like a barn burner just begging to happen. So that would be my, like, if I could make matchups, that would be one of mine
that you'd look forward to.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to make sure that we mention is this is a tentative, like, weigh-ins and everything else. We have seen people come in and not make a particular weight class after they've been slotted in to be in a particular weight in the past, and so on and so forth. So we may or may not see these matchups, but if we get the chance, this is kind of what we're looking for. All right, 55 kilos. You got De Janeiro, you got Bassett, you got Jordan Rainey, you got Lillidahl. Who are you going to pick?
English is tough. Lillidahl and Bassett, number 1 versus number 2. Need I say more? Moving on. Like, what are we talking about? No, like, yes. Shout out to Jordan Rainey. Shout out to Sebastian De Janeiro. They are all killers in their own right. But damn it, number 1 versus number 2.
All right. All right.
That's what that. Sorry.
No, that's pretty easy, and that might be the matchup to watch, like, of the weekend, regardless of weight.
Yeah.
All right. 59 kilos. What do you got?
Valencia and Nittinger, for one reason only. They are both ranked number 9 at their respective weight class in the country.
Yeah. No,
I find that interesting. So
Nittinger's just up in weight. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I find it interesting, and I'm curious on how that will go.
63 kilos.
Lots of options here as well. You know what? I want to see Billy Greenwood out of Black Mambas and Sam Herring out of Spartan RTC. Both these guys 16U places at different weight classes. Neither one of them are on the rankings. I just want to see them specifically get after it. It's a PA Colorado matchup. And yeah, guys like Maddox Shaw, Tyler Vasquez, Drew Gorman. I know. Everybody's very good. Everybody gets a cookie. I just want to see that matchup specifically.
Everybody's very good. Everybody gets a cookie. But you're
Everybody
right.
Gets a cookie.
But you're right. I mean, you could pick lots of different ones, but I love the fact that you are being narrowed down to picking one, and that's hard to do. 67 kilos.
It really is. Give me Connor Dupil at a Vision Quest, ranked number 9 at 150 pounds, and I want to see him against Voinovich, number 14 in his weight class at 150 pounds at a JK squad. That is not a pool match. So we'd have to kind of get lucky with draws on the back, not the backside, but in the tournament play. But I want to see that match.
So I'm going to go ahead and interject one in for myself. And that's 67 kilos. I'm going to go with the trio of PA kids of Buzakis, Manville, and Evanitsky, which might be a lot of fun with all those PA kids kind of getting together at 67 kilos. All right. 70 kilos.
You know what? I want to see at a Spartan RTC CJ Torres. He's ranked number 10th in all of the land. I want to see him scrap it up with Brock Herman at a JK squad, ranked number 7th at 144 pounds. I want to see him get after it there.
I think that's a really good pick. What did you say? What JK squad and who? And Spartan. So they're in opposite pools. That would have to work out.
Yeah.
But okay. All right. 74 kilos. Who you got?
Latrell Schaefer and Joe Seeley. This is a matchup that stylistically I am salivating over. This one will be a 25-point barn burner. Why are you laughing as if I'm joking? I'm not joking.
No, you're not. No,
that
you're
match
right.
could finish 17-13.
Yes, you're right.
Whoever wins.
All right. So
with 17-13 with 5 brick throws, 3 4-point throws, 1 5-point throw, and hand fighting like you think they were in a bar fight.
79 kilos.
Give me number 6 ranked Tyler Ease, wrestling for Black Mambas. And I want to see him scrap it up with so out of Beast of the East, Ty Montario.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I think you say it, or him and Gabe on. Any of those 3 realistically.
All right. 86 kilos.
I want to Oak and Landon Williams. Give me round 2. That's what I want to see. I don't care about nothing else.
All right.
Oh my God, and they're in the same pool.
Are they in the same pool? They are in the same pool.
Yes. I want to see it.
All right. 92 kilos. Who you got?
Give me, and I'm going to go a bit chalkboard here. You have the number 6 ranked 215-pounder in all the land on JK squad and Sonny Sasso. Let me see him and Gavin Nelson ranked number 3 at 215. Let me see them scrap it up.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. And at 97 kilos, what is the matchup that that we should all be watching for?
I'm going to say Adam Hausless at a Carnage, Hausless at a Michigan. That's one of those where I'm going to need to talk to Carnage's coaching staff, how to say the last name. I want to see him and Max Agreski get after it.
All right. That will be those will be some fantastic matchups. And to be honest with you, there's so many others that could happen. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. we start things off on Saturday morning. Some of these matchups could happen on Sunday. Hopefully we'll get to see all of them. The last question I have for you in wrapping this up, and just so everybody knows, I'm going to try to post all of the information that Lucas and I are looking at on the website so you guys can go and see the rosters and everything else. The last question I have for you is, who wins?
So, I don't want to go chalk, but Beast of the East looks super good, bro. This lineup, dare I say, it is one of the best lineups a team has brought to Elite 8 duels. I mean, David Heiser, Thomas, Rainey, Knox, Vasquez, Mansell, Rutledge, Millard, Montario, Taylor, Novak, Agreski. And then you have Hayers, Williams down low. You have Bickerton and Weber as well. It's tough to pick against them. I think that there are a couple teams that very obviously could challenge them, but I think the Robes are going back to Beast of the East. I do.
They're gonna take the Robes again.
I do think so.
All right. Lucas, I appreciate it, man. And I will see you on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll be there Friday night though.
Of course. But we will see everybody else on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. See you.
See you.